Giving, we enable serving, which in turn deepens our sense of belonging to our church community and to God's greater kingdom. At St. Peter's in the Woods, we are blessed with many opportunities to answer God's call, and your generosity continues to be an inspiration. Throughout the past 3 challenging years, you have not only sustained, but grown our mission and outreach efforts, all while fulfilling your Building Love pledges and ultimately our vision for this place of worship. We are so grateful for your contributions. As we kick off the Fall Stewardship campaign today and look forward to the 2023 program year, we invite you to prayerfully consider what gifts you can share to further God's mission amongst us. This year's campaign will be short and focused, only 5 weeks, concluding on November 20 with In-Gathering Sunday. In the next several days, you'll be receiving a letter inviting you to make your pledge, along with a pledge card. You can return your pledge in multiple ways. Through the mail, you can place it in the box that is at the back of the church, or pledge online through the website. For those of you who feel called to pledge today, we do have some pledge cards back there alongside the box if you would like to go ahead and fill that out and put it in the box. This year, we will be doing something just a little different, new and exciting. We're going to combine our opportunity to support our mission and outreach efforts with an option to further your support of Building Love. So at this point, I would like to turn over the presentation to the Building Love Committee to talk about the status of the Building Love campaign, when we plan to start construction, and an exciting opportunity that a very generous member of this parish has afforded us.
Good morning. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mary Beth Brown. I'm one of the co-chairs for the Building Love Committee, and Steve Horton, who everybody knows, and Pam Mack. Anyway, just to give you all an update from, I think the last time we did this was July, and some milestones and their status. On September 28th, we had a hearing before the Zoning Appeals Board with Fairfax County to get a special permit amendment that allows us to have a land transfer to the fire station. And the result of that will allow us to proceed with the sale of the land to the county, and we will get $90,000 for the Building Love campaign. Yay. And I think we might have set a record for getting a letter from the county that actually says that. Within a week, we had a letter. And so our lawyers did really well in pushing them to get us that, because then we needed that, all the information on that for our minor site plan resubmission. That's been resubmitted, and we're waiting on that for the approval. And as happenstance sometimes works, the end of this month, the county is going to switch software for their approval systems, and we're hoping not to get hung up on that, but go ahead and pray about it, please. And then the other note to make is that there's some bonding required in this ending process of the permitting, and it involves Fairfax County, the Diocesan Missionary Society, and St. Peter's in the Woods. Pam can answer more of the questions about the bonding things. And then, just to go over, we've been working with the architect on finalizing the last few finishes that needed to be determined. And we've actually made our first payment to the general contractor because one of the subs suggested, and we approved, that they order some materials before the price kept going up. So we've done that, we've paid them for it, and they're storing it. Once the permits are all approved and we get the okay from the county, the contractor has 30 days to start contractually with us. And so once they start, they've told us that we can remain in the building using the sanctuary for about 2 months. You know, we can project that, and maybe we'll be here for Christmas. But whenever we are out of here, the vestry's arranged for us to worship at Fairview Elementary, right across the street. Let's see. Otherwise, we're really looking forward to seeing the enhancements. And just so you'll know, when they start, they'll tear up the concrete walkway. They'll take off, deconstruct the canopy outside, the entrance, and they will do some selective demolition of the entryway, and they may even have to shore up part of the roof on the one level piece so that, and there'll be a partition. So our entry will be over here and then into the sanctuary through the office and the kitchen. There's nothing really else except the bond things that Pam can talk about and answer. And then if Steve, you can weigh in.
Sure.
Oh, you want me to talk about bonds?
Sure,
Yeah.
you might as well.
Well, Fairfax County not only charges you a fee for every time you submit something to them, but they have a little package at the end of your permitting process that you have to file. One of them is a conservation escrow. In our case, it's $21,500. You get that back at the end of construction if you've been really good and didn't do anything naughty. The point of posting that escrow with them is in case the developer, we are the developer, walks or doesn't finish, they have the money to fix things that were properly. We also have something called a pro rata share. That's a contribution to the stormwater management account for the region, neighborhood. Not sure how far it extends. And there's a maintenance agreement for stormwater management. We have 2 ponds on the properties. Fairfax County, I've been told in the past, is the only jurisdiction in the world that has dry ponds. And one of them is down near Fairview Woods, the Fairview Woods Drive entrance, and one of them is over here off of 123. So we have to file an agreement that gets recorded in the land records that says that we will always take care of our ponds and always do everything Fairfax County asks us to do when they, need something done, and make reports from time to time. And that's about it.
Some of this has been a little bit more complicated, as she indicated. We've got the county, we've got the missionary society, we've got the diocese, we've got the church, and like the ownership is bifurcated. We own the building, and the diocese owns, or the missionary society owns the land, and you've got to get them to sign off. And of course, they don't want to sign off because they don't want the responsibility, but they got to. And it has slowed some of the stuff down. It's been, the lawyers have done a really good job of trying to get us through it. But we're all suffering it with the delays. But we're now about to get going, so that's going to be good. I guess, does anybody have any questions?
So, about the dry ponds, okay, if they're dry, and why can't we just mow them over and plant grass?
Oh,
or
we
something?
have to mow them
That's
over
how
and
they
plant
are.
grass, that's part of the requirement. And they
Yeah.
come by and look at it. I mean, I used to have my little tractor, now the grass cutters are doing it, but I used to bring my little cutter on my little tractor from my place out by West Virginia, haul it over here so that I could drive down twice a year and cut the darn thing.
I think the question is, or you're suggesting, would we even need them if they're dry?
Right.
But
Yeah,
Right.
well,
Well, the point is that they're there to fill up with stormwater in a heavy rain.
Okay,
And so it goes into the pond,
catch area, okay.
and
They're
it
intended
filters
to
out
reach-
slowly.
Yeah, they're intended to recharge the underground water supply. Yeah, it's all, say it. Any other questions? Yes.
Okay, construction starts, let's say, January 1st. We're out of the building January 1st. How long after that are we back in the building?
It would be 6.5 months. The total build-out's supposed to be about 8.5 months. And when they do wall off this, we're looking into trying to put in something without stairs to get into the building. I don't know whether we'll be able to pull it off, but there's a system of like aluminum ramps that we're gonna see if we can rent for the time while we're able to come in and out of the building. Yes?
So there have been, we thought with the pandemic, that nobody was using, well, at any rate, prices have gone up, bottom line. And so we're trying to take the money that we raised and fulfill the promises that the pictures show.
Yes. We're gonna do what the pictures show.
Okay, so there's not a lot of changes in what's been presented.
What is the current plan was, had been pared down a number of times as we went through the design process to say, okay, this is our bottom line, this is what we want and will have. Just so you know, there is close to $200,000 in contingency funds. There's like almost $100,000 with the that is in the plan from the architect, and then the general contractor also has almost that as large a contingency fund within his planning. So we're hoping we're going to be okay. Prices, the actual prices on some things, wood, for example, has come down again a little bit. So who knows? The delays, we're champing at the bit at them and all that, but some of them may actually work to our advantage remarkably.
So I've always not been clear as to whether, like, the hallway, the foyer, when you do the new section, are you gonna change out the floors all the way through the hall and the bathrooms? And the
Not in the bathrooms, but all the hall, all the breaking up tile will be gone, because it's ugly.
The bathroom has the same floor.
No, it doesn't. You got tile in there. You got hard tile in there.
Oh, really?
Ceramics tiles.
Yeah.
That's another project.
That's another project. We're even gonna get some new toilet seats, but they're not part of this project. Anybody else have a question? Well, yes.
When you say the contractor has a contingency plan, do you mean that there's like I don't understand. Is that
Within
like
the-
I mean, there's a give and take with the total amount it's gonna cost us? or-
Within their budget the budget that we have planned has built-in contingencies. I don't envision us getting it back and getting it for less, but I think we've got enough reserve to probably stay within budget.
Just to clarify that, there's not a plan, there's a line item in the budget contingency. And it's, I think, $75,000 or something. But that's in case there's unexpected conditions when they start digging, or they find something in the roof they didn't know about, or whatever. And so we're protected to a certain degree for going over with the original estimate because there's built-in contingency money. Okay.
And then in the overall development budget, we have another $100,000 contingency, which hopefully we won't spend, but it'll keep us from
If we
going
save
up.
that much money, it goes to the building committee.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where is the staging area for all the stuff that they'd want to deliver in case we still were able to drive in the parking lot and stop by and see Heidi? Is there a specific area that we need to avoid, or don't you know where that is yet?
It'll be in the parking lot. I don't know exactly where it is, though. But there'll be enough room to get through. We have, the firehouse and all that ain't gonna let us block that thing. So there'll be a way through and in and places to park.
Okay, another question. Out of curiosity, Are the contractors gonna use our restrooms, or are they using porta potties hidden somewhere, so they're not walking through here all the time, or what, or don't you know?
Yeah.
Good question.
I'll be honest,
It's fine, it's not a big
Yeah.
deal, I was just curious.
There was a point at which, and I think we ended up there, where we offered the contractor the use of half of one of the rooms downstairs to use as an office instead of paying for the rental of a trailer for their offices, and as a way of saving us money. And in that case, I'm going to guess they're going to go to the bathroom up here, but I don't know about all the other workers. We can ask them.
I think they have to have a Johnny
have
on the
to
spot,
outside?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so all of the organization or whatever with the firehouse in the county is complete. So are they going to be expanding the firehouse at the same time we're expanding? It's kind of wild.
Could be, we don't really know. They're not doing anything with the land we're giving them. It's just floor area ratio land that says they can build a little bit bigger firehouse. They're taking that one down completely,
Yeah.
and they're gonna put in a little bit bigger one. Well, part of the requirement is because now you have lady firefighters. They need more room within the building to house that. They're putting one more bay in. I believe they're gonna have gas availability or diesel availability for their trucks. And it's gonna be a Leeds building. It's gonna be hyper efficient and that kind of thing.
They have a
But we got our own worries. I'll let them worry about it.
And just for your information, when the firehouse is gone, they've built a temporary facility up here on Lee Chapel Road.
All righty.
Linda has another question.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the fact that we're able to sell that property to them will allow us to get the elevator as part of the project.
Yes.
Not just, not just the shaft.
The extra the extra $90,000. Actually, it's 110 of it's going to the missionary society and like that.
10%, yeah.
Yeah.
That's high. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions from online? No questions from online?
Okay, well, this has actually all been an introduction for Chuck.
Your building committee folks are all 8 o'clockers, in case you didn't recognize some of them. And they deserve special praise for their patience in working through the simultaneous interplay of several different bureaucracies, some of them rather Byzantine, sorting out new descriptions. We're the building owners, perhaps. The Diocesan Missionary Society may be the owners of the land, or we may be just the owners of improvements on the land, depending on what iteration of this process you go through. So the building committee has had a great struggle, but they've done marvelous work, and we owe them a great deal. But we're not going to give them a cut of any savings. I have good news to share this morning. You may remember that when we completed our original campaign at the end of 2019, we had pledges up through 2024 totaling $1.36 million. Because it would be important to be able to predict the success of that effort, Janelle, then Heidi, painstakingly transcribed the intentions written on each and every pledge card onto a 5-year spreadsheet. So my first good news is that you faithful congregants of St. Peter's in the Woods have so consistently fulfilled your pledges that we can predict with considerable confidence that the full $1.36 million in original pledges will be available and collected by the end of December 24. Congratulations. Still, you will remember that even with that, plus the liquidation of our investment accounts, we still fall somewhat short of paying for the wonderful improvements to our building that we all felt were necessary to pursue: a working elevator, an inviting stairway for better access to our downstairs classrooms, a new bathroom for downstairs, an enhanced worship space, and a separate prayer room chapel. It's all in the plan. We had always expected to need some additional funds to pay that bill. Well, you should know that we are in dialogue with the Standing Committee of the Diocese, another bureaucracy. The Diocesan Missionary Society, still another bureaucracy, in the process of raising that money. At this point, that amount is somewhere between $250,000 and $450,000, depending on several factors. Now, more great news. While your Finance Committee, another part of the church bureaucracy, and vestry have been worrying over this amount, a truly sainted parishioner has come forward with an anonymous pledge of up to $200,000 in matching funds for a follow-on effort. That, of course, would reduce our debt, particularly our long-term debt, considerably. Now, at this point, we can say that some 50 parishioners completed their original pledges by the end of 2021. Another 20 or so, myself included, will complete their pledges at the end of this year. To honor our anonymous donors' commitment, I have decided to continue my monthly contribution for another year through 2023. We're asking any parishioner who might be in a position to do so to do the same. And of course, we welcome any new pledges to this important effort. But remember, we still need to maintain our church and continue our mission and outreach work. So our annual stewardship campaign remains our first priority. In order to accommodate both these needs, your pledge card this year will provide the opportunity to designate 2 pledges, one for the annual campaign and another for the follow-on effort to reduce the impact of construction costs on our long-term debt. Now, remember, Ann mentioned that there are pledge cards available over there on the table, and I'm just concerned I don't want anybody to get hurt. So when we finish, when we're all finished, let's form an orderly line against that wall. Any questions? You're a lovely audience. Not you, Steve. I didn't ask you any questions. Okay, Steve.
Just clarifying for everybody's benefit that if you extend, it does go as part of
The new campaign.
the matching grant for
yeah.
the gift.
Yeah, any,
Even though it won't be paid this year.
yeah, any pledges beyond your current pledge will be tracked separately, so we can track it against the 200,000 matching gift. Now, those of you online may have some questions. I urge you to forward those questions to Reverend Guimond. No, please send those questions about finances to Heidi, and she'll forward them to the committee.
Is it shot too, on YouTube, you can put.
Thanks. Linda?
So do we have enough money with the old pledges to actually complete the work, or is this 200 plus, matching funds actually going towards what we have?
We never had enough money to complete all the
So we were
work.
gonna have to borrow?
We always anticipated some additional debt.
But there's not gonna be any changes. Is there, one question I forgot to ask the building committee, is the acoustic system still gonna be what they had projected originally?
Building committee?
Do you mean design or price?
Well, there was supposed to be a pretty elaborate system.
There's, well, in the ceiling, it's coffered.
No, I'm talking about like the actual audio system.
Or equipment.
There's gonna be additional audio visual.
Mhm.
There were gonna be some potential sound absorbing panels around. That was an alternate, but there are panels, sound absorbing panels in the ceiling. And maybe a couple other places, and then the speakers move around and all
So
of that.
it's still a system that's improving. the
Improved, yes, absolutely.
acoustics in the.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
It'll be better.
Any questions from the online folks?
Nope.
Wonderful. Reverend Susan?
Well, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for staying, all of your faithful support to our annual stewardship, to the building committee, the building campaign, and thanks to Anne and the year-round stewardship ministry, which is a new reimagining of how we do stewardship here at the church. Grateful to you and to Susan Lee Merrow and to Susan Stockwell and to Jennifer and Kendall Holbrook for bringing this together and really helping us be inspired this giving season. Certainly the building committee and your extended membership, the core three are incredible, and the rest of your team have been so inspiring as well. Chuck, our finance committee, the vestry, your clergy team, it has been a very busy season. And when Chuck talks about worrying, I mean, my goodness, at the end of 2019, when we were so excited, who could have imagined these next 3 years? If you had told me it was going to be almost 3 years then, right? I mean, the pandemic and certainly the war in Ukraine has further interrupted supply chain things and the economic uncertainty with which we find ourselves today. And yet, here we all are, generous, giving of our time, our talent, our treasure to build up this church community to be what God is calling us to become. And as this space is even more enhanced, I'm just so excited to see what the future holds for all of us. The one piece I wanted to mention, which you'll probably start noticing next month, is we have a new committee, a landscaping committee, that's working closely with our creation care team, and they are going to be working on some improvements to the field by the cross. You might have noticed it's a little bit beat up out there, but Eric Mengi had a vision and brought this group together and is actually generously funding much of the work to get that done as we try to work with the county for some reimbursement for erosion control. But be on the lookout for some beautification on the hill. The field will remain accessible for the kids to play on, but as we worship outside and as we see the enhancements out there, it will be another beautiful way that we honor our space. So with that, I just want to give thanks for all of you and for the vision and the tenacity and, thinking about struggle. It's been a struggle, but a good struggle and for a good cause. And so many good people working, our architects, our lawyers, and the county. We are all working for the same thing, just as we bump along the way. So we're very grateful for all of those folks. And with that, I think we should just close with a prayer and stay for more good conversation. The Lord be with you. Gracious and loving God, we give thanks for this time. We give thanks for the gift of giving and serving and belonging to this faith community. We pray that you would continue to open our hearts and inspire us for the work ahead and all of the ways we can be about bringing that change in the world you love through the gift of our time and our talent and our treasure and our beautiful community. We pray you continue to bless us, inspire us, and be close to us as we live into this season of excitement and transition and opportunity. All this we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Thank you. I've been here for 9 years. I started as your assistant in 2013 and have been blessed to be on this journey with you for the past 9 years and watch all of us grow into the people and the church that God's been calling us to be. Well, when I think about what would make Jesus say wow about St. Peter's in the Woods, I think I'm lucky because I get a big, broad view of all of the work that's going on at the church. The passion around helping others, serving others. Today is Earth Day, and all the folks coming out to care for creation. Our Giving Garden was a new initiative that gives pounds and pounds of fresh vegetables to our neighboring Methodist Church food pantry. The work with the hypothermia prevention shelter, all the work that Reverend Guimond does with our children and youth. I feel like I have the bird's eye view of all of the wonderful opportunities that people have here to grow closer in their relationship with God and with each other. So I have lots of wow moments.
That is just something wonderful about this church. It's small, but everyone's really willing to step up and give.
I have been coming to St. Peter's for 5 years, probably about 5 years today. We started here at Easter time. We had just moved here and I needed a church, and my son-in-law's, who's in the military drum and bugle corps with the Marines, was playing here with some of his buddies from the unit. So we came here and I just fell in love with this church. And so I have continued to come here, and I am now on the vestry. I help with VBS. I sing in the choir. When COVID's over, I'll come back. So I'm totally immersed in this church, and I think it's an excellent place for people.
I'm involved in several things. The Messy Church, I enjoy greatly being involved with that and children since I'm a former teacher. And I've just started with Fire Guild, and I'm enjoying learning about that ministry. Recently, a few years ago, I was asked to be on the vestry, which was an honor. And I think that through being a member of the vestry, I've been able to have an impact on things that occur here. And then this year I was asked to be the senior warden, which I had some time to contemplate, and finally decided that I would take that on as a challenge in life and hopefully be the best that I can be to contribute in that way.
I think that Jesus would really like this church. I am really impressed at the ministries that we support. I mean, pregnant teenagers in Guatemala, Laundry Love. I hear we're trying to get a food truck for people in need. Helping out with a hypothermia shelter in the wintertime. I just think there are so many things here that make this church so amazing.
St. Peter's has so many missions to help others. Partly in this community, we've been working with, I'm not sure of the name, but a Lorton charity, helping with their pantry. We have had Christmas events where we've been having parties for children for some of the low-income military to be able to celebrate Christmas and buy, sort of purchase gifts for their parents and siblings, and I think that's been a wonderful mission. I also, this is something new, just another example of a mission. I'm a reading buddy at Halley Elementary School, and I love that we've branched out to them, and we've been helping them with afternoon snacks for children to take home. We've just sort of embraced this small school, and we have a wonderful mission to Southwest Virginia, which we go every summer, and we help to improve their homes, and we're taking school supplies to the children, and that's, we have so many missions we have.
So for me, the wow moment, if Jesus were to visit St. Peter's, would be a combination of things. The incredible warmth and welcoming that the St. Peter's parishioners provide to new visitors, I think is amazing. That's what Ann and I felt the first time we came, 10, 12 years ago. The other big wow moment, I think, for Jesus would be the entirety of the mission and outreach that St. Peter's provides to the community. From Laundry Love to the hypothermia shelter, to the Halley Elementary School support mission and outreach that we provide, reading and student materials for the young elementary school kids there.
I think I see God at work mostly in between people and the relationships here. I feel like everybody has that Holy Spirit inside of us, and that you can really kind of sense those connections here in this community, and that people really care about each other.
I think here at St. Peter's, a wow moment that Jesus Christ would be excited about is the community.
The moment I walked into this church with my two teenage children, we were welcomed. We felt at home. We felt at peace. And I think that embodies what Jesus Christ is teaching. And the wow moment is just the acceptance, the welcoming, the love that we felt here at St. Peter's.
I think my very first visit to the church would have been a wow moment. It was a very moving experience because I was really in a time of need, and I had this wonderful welcoming from the church community. And I actually sat next to a woman who she noticed I was doing a comb over, and she had a wig on, and we were talking about, and she was going through chemo, and I told her I had surgery and they had shaved my head, and so it's like we had this instant connection, and I just thought God put us there together, and so that was a very special moment.
Is bringing my granddaughter to the church and for Vacation Bible School. And at the end of the week, she felt very close to several people. It was very obvious. As she left the church on her final day of Bible school, she turned and looked over her shoulder and said to Reverend Susan, "Pray for me." And I was convinced that she knew that that God was in our church, that Christ was here, and that Reverend Susan's prayers would make a difference in her life.
My hope, and what I've seen happen time and time again, is that when a new person or a new couple or family come to St. Peter's in the Woods, they receive a real welcome, a welcome that goes beyond a hello, how are you, but a welcome that extends Sunday after Sunday with an invitation to get a cup of coffee, to get involved in a ministry, and to be introduced to other new people. So I think at our best, we are a truly welcoming community in the way that would make Jesus proud of hospitality and welcome, and encouraging folks to grow deeper in their relationships with each other and with the church and with God.
That is why I give of time, talent, and treasure to St. Peter's in the Woods.
And that is why I give to St. Peter's in the Woods. And that is why I give to St. Peter's in the Woods.
And that is why I give to St. Peter's in the Woods.
So that is why I give to St. Peter's in the Woods.